That's a nice tribute as well. You can see that picture there right at the head of the grid. We'll be hearing the American national anthem ring out very, very shortly, but there you can see Nicky Hayden's 2006 World Championship winning Honda. The emotions of Valencia still so fresh in my memory. Of course, that famous last round victory for Nicky over Valentino Rossi in 2006, and great to see that famous motorcycle at the head of the grid here today.
Is the pressure on Marquez? This is one of the rounds he looks at, this and Sachsenring, and he puts a tick in the box. 50 points guaranteed every single year in Austin and in Sachsenring. Does it change here today?
Well, the key may be the start and whether anybody can rough him up, ruffle his feathers. Will it be this man, Valentino Rossi? There seems to have been a slight cooling of tensions over the last couple of weeks between Rossi and Marquez. They had an embrace behind the podium in Argentina. They embraced in Parc Ferme yesterday as Valentino just makes sure that there's a clear passage for him to get to his motorcycle.
He's ready for his
usual shoulder bar to the brolly dolly there.
Out of the way, I want to crouch by my bike. As ever, brilliant support. The Austin fans this weekend have been utterly brilliant. Thank you so much for your kind words over in the paddock, but they are huge Rossi fans here, as they are all around the world.
You know, it's going to be interesting, Steve. He still needs to sprinkle that magic dust today, because on Friday, when we had the 2 full dry sessions, yesterday was badly disrupted by the lightning storms, the thunder, the heavy rain. Rossi admitted on Friday, half a second he was race pace behind Marc Marquez, so it'll be interesting to see what he's got. Cal Crutchlow is going to have to break a bit of a domination, a stranglehold for Spain and Italy around this COTA circuit. There's been 18 podium places since we first arrived here in 2013 rather. They've all been taken by riders from Italy or Spain. It's 12-6 to Spain right now, so Cal Crutchlow will be wanting at least it to be one Brit up there.
And as he said yesterday in the press conference, mission number 1, don't jump start. Of course, the much talked about jump start penalty for Cal last time out. This is downtown Austin, Texas then. This will be alive and kicking here tonight. And a rider on the grid who will be alive and kicking in a few moments' time is Jack Miller. He's had a brilliant weekend so far, and he's down with Simon on the grid.
Jack, it feels to me like you're on the verge of a breakthrough special result. Does it feel the same to you?
You know, we've been close, Simon, the last couple of Grand Prix, so hopefully, yeah, we are. But we'll wait and see. You know, it's going to be a long old race. Again, as it was in Argentina, it seems like Mark's got a little bit of an edge on all of us. But, you know, as I said in the press conference and as we know now, you know, anything can happen in this motorbike racing. So we'll do our best, try and manage the tyres the best we can and try and bring her home in some decent scoring points.
Best of luck, Jack.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks to Simon Crafar and Jack Miller for talking there. Of course, they've got that launch control system, Ducati, and Jack Miller will sit directly behind Marc Marquez on the grid, so keep an eye on the number 43.
We just saw a quick glimpse there of Pol Espargaro, as we've mentioned before, best ever KTM qualifying. There is Jack Miller, who was just briefly speaking to Simon Crafar, the top Ducati on the grid. What can Jack Miller do from 4th place?
I'm not sure about the glasses, Matt.
He's gone all Tony Elias on us, hasn't he?
Well, it proves lucky for Tony. Tiger Tony winning a Moto America Superbike race yesterday.
I couldn't believe this stat that I dug up before this weekend, Steve, as well. Jack Miller, if he's in the top 6 today, it was only the 2nd time in his MotoGP career he's had back-to-back top 6s. Yeah,
that is a stat. Well, he'll be hoping it comes to fruition here today. This is the situation and the tail of the tape, if you like, for the championship contenders. Marquez versus Dovi so often, but maybe not today. Dovizioso has already got enough work to do on the grid.
Well, there might be a big opportunity here today for Valentino Rossi to move into that 2nd place in the championship. He's 10 points adrift of Andrea Dovizioso. Here's Rossi's Monster Energy Yamaha teammate Maverick Vinales. Now, he's been qualifying exceptionally well over the last 4 or 5 races, and then his victory hopes have all but evaporated and been extinguished by horrible first 2 or 3 laps. What can he do from 6th place? I mean, if it's a traditional Maverick Vinales start, well, he's going to be outside the top 10 by the end of lap 2, so we'll keep a close eye on Maverick. A former Suzuki rider, of course, was Maverick Vinales. And talking of Suzuki, as we pick up Alex Rins, his best qualifying of the season, it's the perfect time to jump back down to Simon Crafar, who's got Suzuki boss Davide Brivio with him.
Davide, I've picked Alex Rins for third today. Am I right?
I hope so. It's going to be a difficult race, I think. This morning during the warm-up, he was not 100% comfortable on some break-ins, but it was also a cold temperature, so I think probably in the afternoon the tire is working better. And then we see the starting position is much better than Argentina, but you never know. We have to try to be able to keep the pace of the guys, and maybe Marquez has something more than everybody else. Let's see. Of course, we will try, and our target is to continue the same way we're doing until now. Stay close to the top and maybe get in the podium, and I hope you will be right.
Thanks, Davide.
You're welcome.
Yeah, 7th place then for Alex Rins. Thanks to Davide Bruvio for talking to Simon Crafar there. Here's Fabio Quartararo, another excellent qualifying display from him, and another performance where he was already into Q2. The Frenchman starts from 9th place here today. He's just behind Danilo Petrucci.
Yeah, second time in 3 races he's out-qualified. His Petronas Yamaha teammate Franco Morbidelli will dip back into downtown Austin. Such a vibrant city, as Steve mentioned earlier on, the music's capital of the world. Who's going to be calling the tune today? Well, will it be Taka Nakagami fighting himself back into the top 10? He's got work to do. 15th on the grid today. He's with Simon.
Taka, how do you feel about the race today?
I don't know. It's yesterday was no long time waiting and no flip flopped in FP3. So for everybody it's gonna be tough. But this weekend 2 days we are tough days so far. But anyway, we are still here. So try to be strong and all the laps and 20 laps. It's gonna be tough, but try to make a good start and as much as I can follow top guy.
Best of luck, Taka.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck to Taka Nakagami. Might struggle to get another top 10 here today. He's had a good start to the season. He starts from 15th on the grid. Here's Jorge Lorenzo. He starts 11th today, just 1 place behind Franco Morbidelli, who we saw a moment ago.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets had that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet fly on the land of the
Well, a very, very emotional rendition of the famous Star Spangled Banner, made even more poignant by the fact that Nicky Hayden's loved ones and family were down there at the head of the grid with Nicky's 2006 MotoGP World Championship winning Honda. Even the hairs on the back of my neck are standing up after that one. What about Andrea Dovizioso? Back to the action here at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas. A lot of work to do from 13th on the grid. How's Andrea Dovizioso feeling? We can talk to his team boss, Paolo Ciabatti.
Paolo, all through qualifying, all through practice, it looked really tough for Dovizioso until morning warm-up. It looked really good. What's happened?
Well, actually, as you know, unfortunately, we missed the top 10 in the first on Friday, and then yesterday it was raining, so there was no FP3, and then FP4 was half dry, half wet. So not the ideal situation. So we start fifth row with Andrea, but this morning he found a better setup, less wind, because our bike is quite affected by the side wind. And I think even following a little bit Viñales, he found some different lines which worked fine. So let's hope we can get a good start and see what happens in the race.
Okay. Good luck, Paolo.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to Paolo Ciabatti for talking to Simon Crafar. Good luck to Andrea Dovizioso. He's got to try and make up a few places. He's got to be aggressive in the early stages, but he's also got to try and stay on board.
Well, you know, self-inflicted wound, Steve, wasn't it, yesterday? I mean, just going for the one soft tyre attack in Q1 really got the strategy call wrong. Not often we can say that about Andrea Dovizioso and his side of the factory Ducati garages. There is Taka Nakagami, outstanding start to the year for Nakagami, back-to-back top tens for him, including a career best dry race result last time out.
Yeah, it just feels like there's something in the air this weekend. I might be completely off here, but just a feeling that this isn't necessarily going to be your average Austin race. Marc Marquez so dominant in the past, but he's not had as many sessions to get into his rhythm so far, and everyone does seem a little closer. It would be so Marc Marquez to prove us all wrong again, though, and go and blitz everyone, but I don't know, there's just that feeling of excitement. There's some intriguing riders in some intriguing spots on the grid. The aggressive Jack Miller and Pol Espargaro on row 2.
Here comes Dovizioso, side by side they are. Oh, here he goes, he sits him up, he's lost momentum, they both run wide. Dovizioso just gets it on the line. It's time for Argentina. Blistering start from Marc Marquez, he has the lead into turn 1. He's having a look, he sits up Dovizioso, the crowd here go wild. Marquez crushes the opposition in Argentina.
History has been made here in Texas. Marquez, the youngest ever winner.
Brilliant stuff from the world champion. Is he going to move back into pole position? What a performance. Absolute demolition job in Austin.
6 and not out. Can anyone stop the King of Austin?
That's the big question. Can anybody stop this man from romping to a 7th straight victory here at the Circuit of the Americas? A magnificent 7th straight win beckons potentially for the Spaniard.
The front row, Crutchlow, Rossi, Marc Marquez. Who will reign supreme here? The sun is shining in Austin. We're ready for action. Chapter 3 starts now.
Saddle up, folks, it's the horsepower rodeo. 20 laps of the Circuit of the Americas for MotoGP coming your way. Front row, Marc Marquez on pole for the 7th year in a row. Valentino Rossi and Cal Crutchlow join him on that front row. Jack Miller top Ducati. Pol Espargaro, KTM's best ever MotoGP qualifying in 5th, with Maverick Viñales rounding out the 2nd row. Rins, Petrucci and Fabio Quartararo, they're on row 3. Franco Morbidelli, Jorge Lorenzo and Pecco Bagnaia in Q2 for the first time yesterday. He rounds out row 4. Dovizioso, his worst qualifying since Jerez 2017 in 13th, with Mira Nakagami on row 5. The two Aprilias are Aleix Espargaro, Andrea Iannone and Miguel Oliveira, they're on row 6. Row 7, the out of sorts Johan Zarco with Kaula Abraham and Happy Cyrene, and all on his lonesome at the back on row 8, it's Tito Rabat.
There have been, as there always, some changes on the grid in terms of tyres, so we'll be able to check those out in just a moment as we begin the warm-up lap uphill. Let's find out a bit more about the Michelin rubber. Simon is in pit lane with Piero Taramasso.
Piero, it's been a difficult event this weekend because of weather and for choosing tyres. Can you give us an idea who's gone with what and why?
Yeah, right now the conditions are quite good. It's sunny, dry, 36 degrees on the ground. So the choice is soft front or medium front, and the rear soft and medium. So they didn't pick up the hard. Now the choice, we can see many medium front, medium rear. This combination give you very good traction. People, they choose the soft, for example, is because they look for more grip on the edge. So,
and Ducatis are easy on them, are they?
Yeah, the Ducati, I think, except the Dovizioso, the other 3 Ducati are soft. The Dove is medium because it's riding style.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks Simon, thanks to Piero Taramasso. Well, the last America's GP winners. That tells the story of one man's domination here. We first arrived in 2013 and this man has never been beaten. Will today be the day when somebody finally takes the fight to Marc Marquez here in COTA? He's trying remarkably for a 13th straight victory here on American soil. Honda have won the last 15 races in the United States of America. Their last defeat was Hoy Lorenzo on the Yamaha at Laguna Seca in 2010. What has Valentino Rossi got to say about that? But it's Marquez and Honda territory, the United States. And talking of the United States, there's a couple of famous legends there.
Yeah, great to see King Kenny there and Wayne Rainey down in the garage. Fantastic. There's so much support here as ever. Kevin Schwantz is around as well. And this is how it stands in the championship.
It looked like it was a level playing field in terms of tyres on the front row, Steve. Marquez, Rossi and Crutchlow, they all went for the medium front, medium rear tyre. We're going to keep a close eye on Andrea Dovizioso with that soft rear tyre, and what can he do? A lot of work to do coming from 13th on that 5th row of the grid.
Buckle up. It's time for Texas. Does Marquez keep the crown? Can anyone dethrone the king? We get closer now to action in Austin, Texas. Marquez on pole, Rossi second, Crutchlow third. We are ready to go here for 20 laps around this 20-corner circuit. Turn 1 can be treacherous. Lights out in Austin. A really good start from Cal Crutchlow in 3rd place. Rossi's challenging as well. They've got the inside line on Marquez, but he is last on the brakes. Can he hold it into turn 1? Job 1 done for Marquez.
Sharp as a razor on the brakes, wasn't he, Marquez? It looked like Rossi and Crutchlow had dragged him out to that first corner, but he was sharp on the brakes. Marquez exactly where he wanted to be. He leads. Rossi second, Crutchlow in 3rd place. Miller is in 4th. Alex Rins got a good start. He's up from 7th to 5th.
There is Maverick Vinales. Oh, a bit of a moment there on the front end, on the bumps for Alex Rins. Can Rossi do anything about Marquez on this opening lap? Or will Marquez try and disappear? He's not far behind at the moment. Crutchlow just lost a couple of tenths on Rossi there.
Marquez versus Rossi, early doors here in COTA. Where have we heard that a few times in the past before? So it's as you were for the top 4 in qualifying. Marquez, Rossi, Crutchlow, Miller. It was a really good start by Alex Rins, up 2 places. What about Andrea Dovizioso? He's had a brilliant first lap so far. Dovizioso up 5 spots from 13th to 8th.
Valentino Rossi trying to get as close to the Honda as possible, but it just on acceleration always. That Honda wins over the Yamaha. We're about to head into turn 12. Valentino Rossi not close enough to make a move. Jack Miller was close enough. He stays in 4th though, behind his good mate Cal Crutchlow.
Marquez already opened up an advantage of about 0.3 of a second. A little bit further back down the pack there was Andrea Dovizioso, who's in that 7th place now. It's been a stellar first lap by Dovizioso. He had to get his gloves off. He's come out swinging as the Italian. 6 places picked up on lap 1 already.
Jack Miller desperate to get past Cal Crutchlow here. Rins then behind. Dovizioso is fantastic. That is such a good start from the Italian.
Well, he said a podium would feel like a win. He's put himself in a great chance of getting that podium. He's already picked off Maverick Vinales. Vinales would not have expected that. Paul Espargaro was out the seat coming through turns 17 and 18. That was a big moment for the KTM man, who's slipping back from that best ever KTM qualifying in 5th.
There is Paul Espargaro behind Morbidelli and Vinales, who of course came to blows in contact in Argentina. But the end of lap 1, Marquez 3 tenths clear on Valentino Rossi, and is this the last we see of him already?
How on earth was Andrea Dovizioso already blitzed by Maverick Vinales? A stunning first lap by Dovizioso, but Vinales again has been caught napping. He's been caught cold on this lap 1, 7th place, and he's struggling to go with Dovizioso. Can't get into his rhythm, can't click into top gear yet. Vinales, same old story for the Top Gun.
On board now with Marc Marquez, and Valentino Rossi is not going to be dropped. Not today, not just yet anyway, in the early stages. Is there any way through for Valentino? We now go from Marquez to Valentino's bike. Through these twists and turns, the Yamaha's very stable.
Yeah, Rossi piling the pressure on. It's not like Marc Marquez tends to crack in this kind of situation. You can see Cal Crutchlow, he's put daylight between himself and Jack Miller in 4th place.
Jack Miller then just struggling a bit up ahead of Alex Rins, who's nice and smooth. Dovizioso was quick this morning in warm-up. He got into a good rhythm, obviously found a decent setup. It's working a treat for him.
Nothing going right now for Jorge Lorenzo. He's down in 14th place now. He's just been passed by Joan Mir. Top of your picture, you could just see Lorenzo was trying to fight back on Mir. Somebody was out well wide coming into turn number 12, further down the field. I don't know if that was Johan Zarco.
Lorenzo's lost another place now to Aleix Espargaro as well, so he's down to 15th. The Factory Pilera rider coming past him. There's Danilo Petrucci struggling. He's got Fabio Quartararo for company, and Andrea Iannone, who's had a... Oh, that's Espargaro.
That's a shame for Aleix Espargaro. He was trying to get 3 successive top 10s on the Aprilia for the first time in a couple of years. Last time he did that was Aston Saxon Ring and Brno in 2017. So his good start to the year's over. He's crashed at turn 14, back at the front. Marc Marquez in position A, just where he wants to be. P1, he'll come over the line at the end of lap 2. 2:04.529. Marquez already asking some tough questions of Rossi. 3/10, he was faster than the Italian. Fastest lap of the race from Marquez. His lead now just under 7/10.
Yeah, Cal Crutchlow's homing in on the doctor now as well. Just getting into his rhythm, isn't he, the number 35. There is Maverick Vinales. He's in 7th place. Morbidelli just tucked up behind him.
You know, Vinales is not running a sluggish pace at all, Steve, but he's a second slower than Marquez. A second slower already at this stage of the race. The gap between, or the gap in lap times between Rossi and Vinales is 7/10 of a second slower than Rossi. Again, it's that age-old problem.
It is, yeah. Rossi just can't get close enough at the moment. He's pushing as hard as he can, but Marquez just seems to be a 10th quicker through every sector. Movement there for Jack Miller, on board now with Alex Rins, into turn 11.
Jack Miller's gone soft front tyre, soft rear tyre now. Alex Rins, one of the key weapons of Alex Rins' arsenal is his ability to manage the tyres. How got great grip in the second half of the races. The Suzuki doesn't burn up its tyres. Tyre choice will be critical here. Jack Miller, just how long he can keep that grip in that soft rear tyre and that soft front as well. Last year on the Ducati, one problem that Miller had was overheating the front tyre. He said he doesn't have to push as hard now on the GP19 with a bit more engine performance. He's having to attack the corner so aggressively to keep himself in the battle. So will that be key for Jack Miller around this COTA circuit?
On board here with Cal Crutchlow, a great view there of the stadium area around this Austin circuit, looking up to Valentino Rossi in 2nd.
Steve, Mark's checking out. Marc Marquez is going. He's pulled the pin already. Rossi came over the line at the start of this lap, 6/10 down. Marquez has taken 6/10 out of Rossi already on this lap. The gap now up to 1.2 seconds. At this stage of the race, there's nothing that they've got on the table for Marquez at all.
We come around then to complete the 3rd lap, and Marc Marquez will extend his lead over the line to 1.2 seconds, and it's a 2:04.3, the fastest lap of the race for the world champion.
6/10 he was quicker than Rossi. There's jump starts for Maverick Vinales and Joan Mir. So Maverick Vinales' day's just got a whole lot worse. Jump starts in 2 races in a row in MotoGP. Can't ever recall that happening, but Vinales and Mir, the 2 Spaniards, have got ride-through penalties. So Maverick Vinales' disastrous start to the season. 3 races into the championship, and Maverick Vinales is going to be out of the battle for the title.
Well, you're going to have to... It'll be interesting to see that one back, but after what happened in Argentina with Cal Crutchlow, you almost think a precedence was set there.
Well, yeah, this is going to be a political hot potato kicked around in race control again, isn't it? There's Andrea Dovizioso at the moment in a relatively lonely 6th place. He's 1.1 seconds behind Alex Rins, 7/10 clear of Maverick Vinales, but he hasn't got to worry about the Spanish rider now. Race direction communicating to Joan Mir, a ride through. Not a great run at the moment either for the former Moto3 world champion. For the first time ever in his Grand Prix career, last time out in Argentina, he had to pull in with some kind of technical problem. So Vinales and Mir jumped the start.
Valentino Rossi there, losing out 2/10 on Marc Marquez on that back straight, just out of acceleration more than anything else. Jack Miller seems to have regrouped a bit in fourth. He's now tied to the tail of Cal Crutchlow. Omer Regali there won't be happy to see that jump start coming through for Viñales, and you're right, Matt. I mean, that just throws Viñales out of championship contention already, and it's going to be another day where he is handed a battering by his teammate if Valentino Rossi sticks around here.
Well, nightmare for Viñales, an absolute disaster. He wasn't exactly pulling up trees in 7th place, but he's got to come in for a ride-through penalty. He would have seen that, or he should have seen that now being communicated on his dashboard. I'm sure now his crew as well will be sticking it on his pit board. Marc Marquez already at the first corner. Viñales just coming out the final corner. There it is, ride-throughs for 36 and 12. Mir and Viñales. It's another fastest lap of the race for Marc Marquez. That's 3 on the spin now, a 2:04.277. Couple of tenths that time quicker than Valentino Rossi, who's doing an absolutely sterling job of trying to keep the heat on Marquez, trying as well at the same time to keep Crutchlow and Miller at bay.
On board now with Marc Marquez then, with a 1.5 second lead in his back pocket. Can Crutchlow find a way through on Rossi? Could he maybe eat into that lead, or is Marquez just too good here in Austin? When Viñales pulls in for that penalty, that will lift Petrucci up into 8th, Espargaro into 9th, and Quartararo into the top 10.
Yeah, something's happened to Viñales as well. He did a 2:08.007 now. Whether he's made a mistake because Franco Morbidelli's already dropped him back to 8th place.
Crutchlow was a bit hot there into turn 11, trying to find a way through on Valentino Rossi and just pushing it a bit too much. So this time around, no joy for Crutchlow, but he's going to have a look. He's very close to Rossi there on the brakes at turn 12, but he stays in 3rd for now.
Something happened to Viñales on that previous lap because he lost 4 seconds. Morbidelli just swept on through. Not sure what happened to Viñales at all. Franco Morbidelli actually has now taken Andrea Dovizioso. So this is a real good early charge from Franco Morbidelli, who's on course for his first ever top 6 in the MotoGP World Championship. He should have perhaps felt that could have come in Termas a couple of weeks ago until he was involved in that last lap collision with Maverick Viñales in Argentina.
Based on the pace from yesterday, the 4 riders that we expected to see fighting for the podium are on your screens. Rossi, Crutchlow, Miller, Rins. Don't forget that Alex Rins, of course, has got some brilliant pace at the end of races as well. He's very smooth on that factory Suzuki.
You can see Suzuki as well have put their own team communication to Joan Mir, penalty warning. He's got to come in. Cal Crutchlow thought about a look up the inside of Rossi going into the first corner. Can't squeeze up the inside of the factory Yamaha man. So Suzuki doing all they can to bring their man in for the ride-through penalty.
Another 2:04.2 for Marc Marquez. 2.3 seconds clear. Joan Mir's taken his penalty. He's absolutely gutted with that one. There was a chance for some points there for the Spanish rookie. Not now.
And what's going on with Viñales? Because he's come over the line again now. He's at a 2:10.034 this time around. He's now 12th. This is the high definition camera, the slow speed camera of Joan Mir. Now he's moving.
It's a jump start.
Moving.
Unfortunately,
by the letter of the law, you cannot move when the lights are on. Now, Joan Mir, you can again make a case for what Cal Crutchlow said.
It's Crutchlow! Crutchlow's gone out of the race. He's trying to find a way past Valentino Rossi, and after the disaster in Argentina, how costly is that for Cal? His bad luck in Austin continues, and there will be no podium in the US for the Brit.
Well, he crashed out and remounted in 2016. He crashed out last year and remounted, but Cal Crutchlow, well, he's blown it big style. On the brakes, he got a little bit unsettled, a little bit nervous, didn't it, going into turn number 11. That went really quick on Cal Crutchlow. Really quick. He's going to be absolutely gutted. There was a podium there up for grabs, a podium taken away in cruel circumstances in Termas, so big blown opportunities by Crutchlow over the last couple of weeks.
Marquez it is then that resumes, of course, still out front, building on his lead. 3 clear now of Valentino Rossi. The podium battle is down to 3 riders. The last 2 places between now Rossi, Miller and Rins. Further back, Franco Morbidelli has gone up into 5th place. Great job from the Italian. He's gone up ahead of factory Ducati rider Andrea Dovizioso.
So Rossi standing firm in the face of the onslaught coming from Miller and Rins. Maverick Vinales is in. He's livid, I'm sure. Our production guys are frantically trying to get some high speed or slow speed, high definition footage of the Vinales jump start as well. Mir was undoubtedly moving. Oh, Vinales
he took the penalty loop, but he doesn't realise that it was a ride through. So he's done a Romano Fenati
well, he's
almost.
done that twice because he did a 2:08 and then a 2:10. I mean, this is an absolute disaster for Vinales. Here he is, bottom right-hand picture of your screen. The lights are on.
Yeah,
he's moving.
That's a jump start as well.
He's moving. I mean,
and he's taken 2 penalty loops.
I'm sorry, but they can't have any complaints about that. The letter of the law applied to perfection there. Well, they were 2 clear jump starts. They were clearer jump starts than the Crutchlow were in Argentina.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I do fear though, Matt, I do fear we're going to see that a lot this year. But hey, rules are rules. They all know about them. Marc Marquez leads, 14 laps to go, 3-second advantage. He did just lose a couple of tenths a moment ago, but I don't think there's any fear from Marquez fans.
What I'm really perplexed about is why Maverick Vinales would have been told in his dashboard a ride through penalty. So I don't understand for the life of me why he was coming in the long lap lane.
No, that's a bit of a heads gone moment, really, isn't it, for Maverick Vinales? And that, I mean, it will be pretty miserable for him because he might score some points, but they're not going to be top 10 juicy points, that's for sure. And he was already miles behind in the World Championship after a tough start to 2019. As it sits, Valentino Rossi is on for a second place, another second place.
Yeah, Marc Marquez, though, his advantage just keeps eking out. You can just see him there from a helicopter shot. Marquez already at the final corner. We're on board with him now. And he's going to come over the line. His advantage for the first time in this COTA Grand Prix is up to over 3 seconds. 2:04.511 that time around from Marquez, 4 tenths quicker than Rossi. Jack Miller took 3 tenths out of Rossi on that previous lap. Of course, Jack Miller's only ever had 1 podium. It's that famous win in Assen. He's never been on the podium in a dry MotoGP race as the Australian. He's never going to get a better chance than this afternoon.
As things stand, Marquez would take a 19-point lead, if my maths are right, into Jerez, with Rossi and Dovizioso actually locked on points for second, but there's still a long way to go here in this race, and Jack Miller and Alex Rins will be hungry. Neither will want to finish in 4th place here today.
Yeah, still 13 laps of this race to go. Physically wise, it's the most demanding, the most taxing race on the World Championship calendar. It's going to be a battle of the fittest in the last 5 or 6 laps. Fabio Quartararo all weekend's been saying to the media, dreading the last 5 laps. You've got to use so much energy, expend so much strength just muscling one of these 300 horsepower MotoGP bikes around this 20 corner COTA layout. The last 5 laps, it's going to be a battle of time management and a battle of mental and physical management as well.
Breaking into turn 12, Marquez is in your top left corner if you want to keep an eye on the race leader, 3.6 seconds up the road. This is the fight for second. No one really able to make any big moves at the moment, but it could be coming a bit later on. In the background, Morbidelli still leads. A little battle going on for 5th ahead of Dovizioso.
Yeah, I was just thinking, Steve, I wonder had Andrea Dovizioso not started from 13th, had he got the pace to be in this battle? Well, categorically not. His last lap was a 2:05.7, which was a long, long way behind Rossi, Miller and Rins. Rins did a 2:04.7, so Dovizioso is lapping a second slower than Alex Rins in 4th place, so he's in the top 6, but he's got nothing like podium pace had he been able to have started further up.
And it's extra credit to Jack Miller, the leading light for Ducati here this weekend. He's beating both of the factory Ducatis right now.
Well, and he's doing what he needs to do. He's giving Paolo Ciabatti, Gigi Dall'Igna and a few other men in the upper echelons of Ducati a bit of a headache here, because Jack Miller, he knows there's a factory Ducati seat up for grabs alongside Andrea Dovizioso in 2020. There may have to be some pretty big calls in the next few weeks being made by Ducati management about whether they stick with their man Petrucci or whether Jack Miller's performances, they think, well, that warrants a place in the factory team. I wouldn't want to be in some of the board meetings in Bologna over the next few weeks.
Valentino Rossi's just gapped slightly Jack Miller here on this lap. He's just got a couple of extra tenths in his back pocket. This is Marc Marquez, though. I think the frightening thing for the opposition at the moment, Matt, is that Marc Marquez, dare I say, hasn't had so many moments this year.
No.
Last year, you used to see on Fridays and Saturdays the odd front end washout. It looks so much smoother as Jack Miller goes straight on over at turn 11, and that allows Alex Rins now into a podium place.
Yeah, by Marquez's standards, everything's been really sort of neat and tidy for the majority of this year. That was a costly mistake by Jack Miller. Alex Rins didn't have to work that hard for third place. So what has Jack Miller got in response? And what has... Oh, Marquez is down!
Crashed! Oh my goodness me! The commentary curse! We said he was going squeaky clean. I heard the noise from the crowd. I can't believe it. Marc Marquez is not going to be winning in Austin for a 7th time. He will rejoin the race, I think.
Incredible.
What's happened?
End of the back straight, turn 12. End of the back straight. We were just saying, all neat and tidy, how he hasn't made mistakes, and he makes a massive one. What a howler by Marquez. 3.6 seconds clear he was of Valentino Rossi.
And he's thrown it away, and he cannot get that bike started again.
Well, the betting slips around the world are being ripped up. You did not... Oh, and he's down again. How embarrassing is that? Give it up. That's a bad day. He dropped the bike initially. He's toppled off the side of it.
Well, that leaves Valentino Rossi remarkably out front here in Austin, with Alex Rins second and Jack Miller third. The doctor, Valentino Rossi, who has not had a race win, we remind you, since Assen 2017.
What a shocking 30 seconds or so there for Marquez.
And he's not getting back
crashed, picked the bike up and dropped it, tried to get it going again, then toppled off the side of it.
Well, this is unbelievable. I cannot believe what we're seeing. Valentino Rossi, well, he doesn't need to see that team communication. He's just seen Marquez down. It will not be a 7th win for Marquez. The king will be dethroned here in Austin today, but by who? Will it be Valentino Rossi? Will it be Rins? Will it be Miller?
Comedy of errors there by Marquez, the biggest one of which. He's lost his proud record. There will be no magnificent 7th successive victory here in COTA. There will be no 13th victory in a row. Had he won today, he'd have been the first rider since the legendary Giacomo Agostini to have won 13 successive races in the same nation. That was Agostini in Finland at the famous Amata circuit in the 60s and 70s. He's blown it big style. Unbelievable. Shocking day for Honda. Cal Crutchlow already out. Marc Marquez out. Their lone warrior, HRC's man, Jorge Lorenzo in 10th place, Nakagami 12th.
As it stands, Valentino Rossi wouldn't just win here in Austin, but he'd go to Jerez as the championship leader. And Dovizioso, all of a sudden, that disastrous qualifying from yesterday, Matt, and it's all working out okay. He's 5th place at the moment, and he will actually go ahead of Marquez. Motorcycle racing is a strange game, and it just shows you that you cannot count your chickens sometimes.
The Rossi camp can't believe it. There you go. Rossi then will be leading the World Championship, should it stay as it is. Alex Rins, of course, his eyes would have lit up as well. We've not had a Suzuki winner since Maverick Vinales at Silverstone in 2016.
And he sniffs that, Matt, because he's just pulled in Rossi by a few tenths. Now, Rins is really, really smooth here.
He's going for the full set here, Alex Rins. A Moto3 winner here in COTA in 2013. A Moto2 winner here in 2016. Can he get what would be an unlikely hat-trick? I'm still reeling in shock that Marc Marquez has ditched it and dumped it with a 3.6 second lead in COTA. Did not see that one coming at all. I'd have just lost my house. I'd have put my mortgage on Marquez winning here today.
Wayne Rainey and Kenny Roberts, two of the most famous motorcycle racing heroes and champions of America, are in Rossi's side of the garage.
Well, it's a day for the old dogs and legends. Tiger Woods has triumphed in the US Masters Golf Tournament. What a double story this would be. Valentino Rossi, there's still 10 laps to go, but here he is leading at the circuit of the Americas.
He might have a job on here, Matt. The silky smooth Rins, 10th by 10th, is getting into contention. There's a heck of a lot of race left here. It's 5.5 kilometres around this Austin circuit, and there are 10 laps to go. We've only just reached half distance.
The soft front tyre, soft rear tyre choice for Jack Miller's not paying dividends. It looks like Miller's already encountering some grip issues. He's now lapping in the high 205s. Franco Morbidelli slightly quicker in 4th place, although Miller, to be fair to him, has got a real comfortable cushion over Morbidelli in the battle for 3rd place. He's 5.2 seconds clear, so barring any big howls from Jack Miller, he should be having his first ever dry MotoGP race podium.
Well, Santi Hernandez there, the crew chief of Marc Marquez, cannot believe what he's seen, and neither can we, frankly.
Well, just trail braking hard into that turn 12, Steve. It's an easy mistake to make. You know, the guys are decelerating from 340 kilometres an hour, flat out in 6th gear, and then down into that tight, gnarly, tricky left-hander, first gear. It's the hardest braking zone of the season, turn 12, and it's caught Marc Marquez out big style. Simon.
And the bumps throw the rear in the air and put more weight on the front on the way in.
Yeah, I'm sure Simon Crafer, just like everybody, is shocked to see this man, Marc Marquez, down and out of a COTA Grand Prix.
Well, it's not often he has to sit in a garage and watch the rest of a race, because more often than not, he rejoins a race. Not today, unfortunately. He sits in a dark corner in Lorenzo. It's got worse for Repsol Honda.
Deary me.
Jorge Lorenzo is out of the race.
Well, I hope Taka Nakagami stays on board, because when would have been the last time that there was not a single Honda finisher in a MotoGP Grand Prix? This is unbelievable.
What's happened to Lorenzo then? Turn to exactly the same corner as Marc Marquez. There's a problem there on the downshift. He can't downshift at all. There's a problem. There was a mechanical issue for him yesterday. There's another one for him here as well. He's livid. Repsol Honda will leave the USA's chain's not gone again, has it?
I was just going to say, I'm trying to desperately see if the chains jump the sprocket again.
In the meantime, Alex Rins has creeped a bit closer now to Valentino Rossi.
I mean, you talk about nightmares for Honda. 2 mechanicals in 2 days for Jorge Lorenzo. A crash out of a 3.6-second lead for Marc Marquez.
And Cal Crutchlow crashing.
Well, exactly. I mean, HRC, dearie me. They will not be wanting to look back too fondly on COTA 2019, that's for sure. This one will not be playing on a loop back in HRC too many times. And Dovizioso's got through on Morbidelli. More real precious championship points being collected here by Desmo Dovi.
He's a smart cookie, isn't he, Andrea Dovizioso? And he won't do anything too silly there either. Well, I say that. I don't want to give any more commentary curses out here today. It's been ridiculous so far. All sorts of drama in MotoGP. Rossi fans are holding their breath. Davide Brivio will be having kittens down in the Suzuki box.
There's just nothing between the lap times of Rossi and Rins. 2:04.9 last time for Rossi, 2:04.8 for Alex Rins.
Whilst we look at this, quick shout out to some of the riders further behind that are having great races. Okay, largely because there's been a few fallers, but Quartararo 7th, Pol Espargaro 8th, Pecco Bagnaia in 9th, Iannoni's in for a top 10 as well.
Rossi's just dropped into the 2:05s for the first time in this Grand Prix, a 2:05.103. Alex Rins behind him was just marginally the faster man on a 2:04.995 again. Nothing really between them, the width of a fingernail in terms of their lap time at the end of this long 5.5 kilometre circuit of Austin, Texas. And Alex Rins, the Suzuki works a treat in that first sector, that fast change of direction in the sector 1. That's where the Suzuki chassis, the nimbleness of that GSX-RR really comes to the fore. He was able to close down Rossi big style in that sector 1.
Well, he's stalking him, isn't he, Matt? And he's getting a good look here at the Yamaha strengths and weaknesses.
Well, quickest on Friday, Steve, in sector 1, this will come as no shock to you whatsoever, was Alex Rins on the Suzuki. It's such an agile, manoeuvrable motorcycle, and that's what that first sector is all about. You need to be flicking it from side to side at high speed. Rins, it's advantage him in sector 1, that's for sure.
Well, if you watch the slow-mos all weekend into turn 2 where there's that massive bump, the Suzuki handles it, like you say, absolutely perfectly. In fairness, the Yamaha hasn't been too bad in that area either. Alex Rins here is checking Rossi out. Where can I make my move? Jack Miller's still there in 3rd place. Now, let's see here again, Marc Marquez. He had a huge lead. There will be questions asked as to whether or not he needed to push as much as he did. Just normal on the brakes, not completely out of shape.
Yeah, you can see we're still on the brake, still trail braking. Was he just perhaps a little bit hotter in there? A couple of times the rear did lift, not too dramatically though. He didn't look like he was going in there out of control, did he, Marquez? Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Who would have thought that they would see Marc Marquez on the floor with such a commanding advantage at the Circuit of the Americas? That's where it's all gone horribly wrong. This was just the start of it.
And the surprising thing is, Matt, is that we were just momentarily before that talking about how he hasn't had any moments. He's not had anything like any warnings there. really, all weekend. I mean, he's had a couple of moments where he's gone straight on, but like you say, that didn't look like it was going to go wrong.
Lap times are plummeting here as we get into the business end of this COTA Grand Prix. Alex Rins was 0.8 of a second slower on that previous lap than the one before. 2:05.774. Again, there's nothing to divide Rossi and Rins. They were both on a 2:05.7. Jack Miller's going to be relieved that he's got that real comfortable cushion over Andrea Dovizioso, because he's dropped into the 2:06s now. Miller, those soft tyres, they've shot to pieces.
It's been a bit of a nightmare day for Maverick Vinales. He got a jump start. He then took 2 penalty loops for no reason whatsoever, not any reason we can really understand, and then he went for a ride through, but he's in the points here and he's battling Tito Rabat. This would move him up into 14th place. At the front it's still Rossi. You can see on the top left of your screen, he's 3/10 up still on Alex Rins, who continues to stalk and shadow the 9-time world champion.
Well, this time 2 weeks ago, Valentino Rossi had not had a podium in 259 days, all the way back to the Sachsenring in Germany, and here he now stands on the brink of a famous victory. Yes, okay, it was a present, a gift from Marc Marquez, but you've got to be in it to win it. Maverick Vinales involved in a pretty intense dogfight here with the 2 Reale Vinci Ducatis. He's winning that war right now. Poor old Jorge Lorenzo. Can anybody give that guy a break? He had a loose handlebar grip in Termas, which really affected his pace. He did, of course, start the race with the pit lane speed limiter engaged. Technical issues a go-go over the last 6 months or so for poor old Jorge Lorenzo.
When was the last time Valentino Rossi won on American soil?
Indianapolis 2008.
It's a long wait. The last time he won a race full stop, of course, was Assen 2017. Alex Rins has never had a race win in MotoGP. He's not won since Moto2 2016. Jack Miller, of course, if he was to pick up the pieces of anything that happened between these two, we all know he won in 2016 in Assen in that amazing race. But this is really intriguing because Rins is lining something up.
Well, that famous victory for Rossi in Indy 2008 came in a race that was stopped because we were getting the remnants, the back end of Hurricane Ike. There's a storm brewing now for Rossi, and it's coming in the shape of a Suzuki. Team communication for Alex Rins switched to mapping 3. Now, is that because he's got to conserve the tyres, or has he been conserving the tyres? Well, he can wind on a bit more power back in there.
It's so difficult to tell at this stage, Matt. We don't know if he's got something up his sleeve. Is he going to pounce at the right point when Rossi can't bite back? Is he going to leave it late? Is he going to leave it till a lap before? Does he know he's got the supreme pace, or is he pushing right to his limit? It's difficult to say right now.
Tell you what, Rossi gets that Yamaha hooked up grade out of turn number 11. He's able to gap the Suzuki down the back straight.
Sector 1 is Rins. He's great there. Sector 2 is definitely Rossi. We're now about to enter Sector 3. Let's see how Rins fares here through the tight and twisty stadium section. Not a lot in it here. Rossi perhaps just marginally edging it, but it's so close. Not a lot to split Valentino Rossi and Alex Rins here.
Well, last time out in Argentina, Rossi became only the 14th rider in Premier Class history, aged over 40, to finish on the podium. The first time that had happened since Jack Finley way back in 1977. I'm reliably informed that at this stage of the race, should he finish on the podium, it will be the oldest rider to have back-to-back podiums in a Premier Class Grand Prix since Jack Ahern in 1966. And being an Englishman, we know that's a long time ago because that's the only time he won the Football World Cup. Back to the bikes though, and it is Rossi still standing firm against Alex Rins. The gap 0.2, identical lap times yet again. Rossi 2:05.499, Rins 2:05.421. Rins just cannot quite get close enough to strike.
But what we saw there on that onboard footage with Alex Rins, Matt, is the key factor. Rins is quick through Sector 1 and Sector 4. He was so close to the tail of Rossi going into turn 19. Is he going to leave it to chance until the very final corner? He's quick there. This is, of course, where Rins is really closing up on Rossi.
And this is about, Steve, who's got the better rear grip. 5 laps to go. two completely different tales here. The Yamaha at this stage of races, normally they run out of grip, they drop off a cliff. What happens with the Suzuki? It gets stronger, it gets faster. This is going to be fascinating. Have Yamaha solved their end of race rear grip issues? Because we know that the Suzuki, this is where they come into their own. This is a big question mark for Rossi, bigger question mark for Yamaha.
That Rins has got a couple of big chances. Turn 11, because he's so quick at the start of sector 1. Here, of course, if he's close enough, and then the final corner. He's a lot closer into sector 2 now than he has been previously, but Rossi really does get it working round here in this stadium section. Fascinating race here in Austin, and not the way we saw it going at all.
Well, is Rossi just starting to suffer that age-old problem of the rear grip? Because at the moment, Alex Rins looks like, well, he is swarming all over the rear tyre of Rossi. Rins is in position A here. He will see exactly what's going on with Rossi's rear tyre. He'll see every twitch, every movement. He'll be trying to calculate when's the time to pounce, calculate what time of the race he wants to hit the front, if he can hit the front, and maybe break up Rossi.
He won in Moto 3 here, he won in Moto 2 here. He loves Austin, does Alex Rins. His first ever podium in Grand Prix racing was the same day Marc Marquez opened his account in MotoGP.
Yeah,
is he about to win in MotoGP as well?
Remember that day? It was a shortened 5-lap dash for cash in Moto 3 in 2013 after a red flag. It's a 4-lap dash for his first ever MotoGP victory here now for Alex Rins. That's what it's all come down to.
On a day where Tiger Woods wins the Masters, and one of the greatest comebacks in sporting history, is Valentino Rossi going to send one home for the old dogs. Oh, here comes Rins, just on cue. Rins has found a gap. The door was open. That was silky smooth from Alex Rins, and now he leads. Now, can he break away from Valentino Rossi? Has Rossi got anything left in those tyres?
Well, we're about to find out. Rins is able to take 6 or 7 bike lengths straight away on Rossi. He's in hot though at turn number 11. He's able to get back on the throttle. Now then, can Rossi get in the slipstream? Rins would have sacrificed a bit of his exit speed there, bringing slightly hot on the brakes. Will Rossi fight back at turn 12? He's so strong on the brakes. I don't think he's going to be close enough.
No, Rins was really late, although Rossi's going to have a look here. It's a bit last minute stuff. He can't get it stopped. Rins goes through, and that could be costly for Valentino Rossi.
That smacked of desperation already from Valentino Rossi. Rossi knows that Rins has got the better rear grip here. Rossi knows that Rins can break away. That was just Rossi trying the block pass, trying to disrupt Rins' rhythm. Already it did smack him a bit of desperation, that one from Rossi.
Alex Rins then now in charge. He qualified in 7th. He missed out on podium opportunities in Qatar and Argentina due to dismal qualifying sessions, but he's got it sorted now, and as Matt rightly points out, he has the bike that manages the tyres best in the latter stages of races. I struggle to see Rossi being able to close that gap again now.
Yeah, I mean, he was never going to make that one stick, was he? In hot, leaving his braking as late as possible. Alex Rins comes over the line. There are 3 laps to go here in COTA, and he's got a half a second advantage over Valentino Rossi, and we're dropping down now into the second corner. This is the part of the circuit where the Suzuki's been supreme all weekend. Here is Jack Miller then in 3rd place, a lonely 3rd. He will not care about that. On course for his first podium since that famous victory in Assen a couple of years ago on the Mark VDS Honda.
This win for Alex Rins would remarkably throw him into championship contention, of course. It would change everything. And Dovizioso, well, he's won the pools today. Look, he would actually now be championship leader. There'd be 9 points between 4 riders into Jerez.
Talk about prison break, get out of jail free for Andrea Dovizioso. What a bonus that would be for him. Rins is going. Rins has already taken 2 tenths out of Rossi in that first sector. Rossi's got to find some big magic now in these last 2.5 laps, because Alex Rins, look at Rins get that Suzuki hooked up out of turn 11 as well.
It's managing the tyres beautifully.
Yeah, Rossi hasn't got any grip left, simple as that.
Silverstone 2016, the last time we saw a factory Suzuki win, of course, that was in the hands of Maverick Vinales. You're looking here at, a bit further back at Andrea Iannone, who's in 11th place right now. He's 1 clear of Maverick Vinales. Taka Nakagami's on for another top 10. Pecco Bagnaia is 1 place ahead in ninth. That would be a great result for the Moto2 world champion. We're on board here though with Rossi. He's half a second down on Alex Rins.
Got to say, fair play to Rossi. He's ridden superbly. He's not letting this one go without an almighty fight. Yes, we should say Marc Marquez, a reminder, was long gone in the distance when he made that terrible blunder at turn 12.
There's going to be some noise shortly. Can Rossi do anything about that gap out front? Jack Miller, a lonely 3rd place, but he'll take it. It's 0.4 of a second. Rossi was quicker on that lap than Alex Rins. When we go back to the action, there's 0.4 in it. Bit of a front end wobble there. I think they're both struggling a bit here with tyre life, Matt. Yes, the Suzuki handles it well, but this is a long, long race. There are 2 laps to go. Is there any more magic left in Valentino Rossi here in Austin?
What a test of Alex Rins' mettle this is as well, Steve. You know, you come over the line, you're 2 laps away from your first ever MotoGP win, and you see plus 0.4, 46. A real mental test here for Alex Rins. He's never been in this situation before in MotoGP. He's never going to have a better chance to win his first race as a Premier Class rider, but when you've got a 9 times world champion of the class, quality and calibre of Valentino Rossi putting the pressure on behind you, will he crack or will he not buckle and go and make a famous victory here, Alex Rins?
Either tail here, either one of these winning is a great tail. Oh, and did Rossi just go in a bit hot there?
Yeah, got in a little bit hot.
And I think that's game over. Rossi might now start thinking about 20 points and a world championship, you know. That's it. Rins is gone, and I think unless Rins makes a mistake now, it's over. What a result it will be, though, for the Suzuki team. You can never say never. Don't ever rule Valentino out, of course. Rins has got 1 nervy lap coming up here, Matt.
He really has. Outstanding run of results at the moment for Alex Rins. 9 top 6s in a row, but he's just a few corners away now from a stunning victory, an unexpected and unlikely victory after Marc Marquez's shocking mistake.
We come around turn 17, now around turn 18. Just 2 corners left on this lap, and Alex Rins is going to start the final lap of this race in Austin. 5.5 kilometres away from winning his first ever MotoGP race. He's going to have about 6/10 over Valentino Rossi on the line to try and defend.
Oh dear, they can barely watch, can they? In the Suzuki garage, and here we go, last lap underway for Alex Rins. Just 5 kilometres now away from one of the highlights of his Grand Prix career. Rossi still refusing to let him have it all his own way, and why would he? Valentino Rossi desperately trying to pressure Rins into some kind of mistake. Rins has not buckled yet.
Jack Miller looking for his first podium with Ducati. What a result that would be for him. He's only ever had, of course, 1 podium in MotoGP. That was that iconic win in Assen. But this is the fight at the front.
Davide Brivio, he has barely got some fingernails left. There's a few more grey hairs on that head, though, I'm sure, for Davide Brivio. Kenny Roberts, Senior, and Wayne Rainey, the pair of them, MotoGP legends. They'd have been proud of the work that Valentino Rossi's done today so far, but this is Alex Rins to lose surely now. Up at turn number 11, 9 corners left for him to go. It's all neat and tidy for Rins. Hard on the gas now as he accelerates up to 335 kilometres an hour down this long back straight.
Rossi's making him work for this, that's for sure. Just under a 10th gained on this lap, but he'll need more than that if he's going to win. Rins has got to make sure that turn 12 is squeaky clean. He does, but he's really careful through there.
Rossi was unbelievable on the brakes going into turn number 12. He gained a whole bunch of metres and time on Alex Rins.
He's getting closer and closer.
Davide Brivio can't look. Rossi's coming. Rossi's coming.
You know there's going to be a move. You just know it's coming. He's made up 2 or 3 tenths on this lap. Can Rossi get close enough for a lunge? We're entering the final sector here.
Unbelievable pressure now on the shoulders of Alex Rins, and it's being exerted by this man, Valentino Rossi, the doctor. He's got just 2 corners left. Has Alex Rins got enough in his pocket? 1 corner left now for Valentino Rossi. It looks like a famous win for Suzuki and Alex Rins.
The checkered flag is out here in Austin. Rins exits perfectly, and he wins his first ever MotoGP MotoGP race. The factory Suzuki rider has done it, and Valentino Rossi finishes in second. What a ride by them, and Miller takes his first podium since Assen 2016. A remarkable race, a remarkable tale. Chapter 3 had just about everything. Dovizioso finishes in fourth and will have the championship lead going into Jerez.
Incredible, incredible. 42 minutes of breathless action. What a day for Honda. Marquez blowing a 3.5 second lead, a technical for Jorge Lorenzo, a crash for Cal Crutchlow. But the headlines and the plaudits will quite rightly go to this man, Alex Rins, from 7th place on the grid. It's a hat-trick of wins here at COTA for him. He's got the full set now in all 3 World Championship classes. Brilliant, brilliant way to hold off the pressure being put on by Valentino Rossi. It looked like Rossi didn't have the pace or the grip in those last 2 or 3 laps. Rossi had a stunning final lap, 2:04.968. Rossi fired in on that last lap, just wasn't quite good enough as this man Alex Rins, the sweet taste of your first ever MotoGP victory, and I think it's going to taste even sweeter, Steve, the fact that he held off this man's onslaught over those last couple of laps.
Good result for Franco Morbidelli there. He's congratulated by Rossi.
Yep, first ever top 6 for him in MotoGP.
Alex Rins throws himself into the championship contention
Guys,
now with that victory.
I've got to interrupt. I've got Davide Brivio here. Davide, I've known you since '94. I've never seen you look so nervous.
Yeah, I am. When you race like this, you're always nervous. But I told you on the start you were wrong, because you say third. Okay?
Congratulations.
So let's do it again next time.
Yeah, Davide Brivio, as you'd expect. Barely able to speak. Great get there, Simon Crafar, talking to the man who's going to have a pretty heavy Sunday night, I'd imagine now. Andrea Dovizioso. We said he got out of jail. Somehow, Andrea Dovizioso, having started in 13th place, his worst qualifying in 2 years, is going to go to Jerez, leading the World Championship. And how tight do you want it? The top 4 split by just 9.
This is the big talking point. Marc Marquez then crashing out remarkably at turn 12. Looked to be going so smoothly and well. That is unbelievable. The biggest mistake of the season so far from the world champion. He loses his lead.
Tell you what, we properly put the commentators cursing him, didn't we, mate?
Yes, unfortunately, moments before that, we were just talking up how everything was looking pretty smooth for Marc Marquez. It's not to be today. The run comes to an end, and Alex Rins becomes the first ever rider to win in all 3 categories here in Austin. He did it in Moto 3 in 2013. He did it in Moto 2 as well in 2016, and now he wins a MotoGP's race. The first for the factory Suzuki team since the British Grand Prix, of course, Maverick Vinales 2016. A lot of hard work and effort has gone into this.
A few tears there from Ken Kawachi, who's one of the leading lights in the Suzuki factory. Absolutely brilliant scenes there for Suzuki. He joins a pretty exclusive club, does Alex Rins. He is only the 10th Spanish rider to win a Premier Class MotoGP race. You think of other great names like Marc Marquez, Jorge Lorenzo, Dani Pedrosa, Alex Cribier, of course. A day that young man will never forget, and he is right in that championship battle as well. Thought he was going to, whoever that is, I thought he was going to knock him off the scooter there. Careful, Alex.
Great scenes, great for Alex Rins, Matt, great for Suzuki.
Nice
to see this,
yeah.
look, Joan Mir going over to congratulate. That's fantastic to see.
Wasn't his day, was it? One of 2 riders, believe it or not, who had to have ride through penalties. Where do you start to cover that one? A first win in 3 years for Suzuki, and what about that? Well, I thought that was Kevin Schwantz, very, very believed. Kevin's been walking around with a white shirt all weekend. He will be happy though, of course. We're on a circuit which Kevin Schwantz helped design on a restaurant napkin, believe it or not.
Valentino Rossi, you know, he knows how close he was to taking victory here today. I think once he's had a good night's sleep, he'll be very pleased with that. He's 3 points behind Dovizioso for the championship, but he's gutted that that win has slipped away.
Back-to-back podiums for him for the first time since Mugello and Barcelona last year. Andrea Dovizioso will be walking into that Ducati garage going, how the heck did I salvage a 4th place out of that one? Here comes Alex Rins then. as we said, perhaps fitting for him to win his first Grand Prix for Suzuki here in COTA. Kevin Schwantz, Texan himself. There's a very excitable Robbie Brivio with the spectacles there. He's brother to Davide Brivio. Brilliant scenes. And of course Jack Miller, an outstanding ride by him. That's only his second ever MotoGP podium. I think he said, yeah, the tyres are pretty finished, but he'll take a podium. Jack Miller, every single time he went out on track this weekend, he was the top Ducati.
Three very popular figures in Parc Fermé here right now. Great to see Jack Miller back in Parc Fermé at the end of a race. It's been a long time. 2016, that win in Assen seems like a very, very long time ago.
Yeah, fastest man on the last lap was none other than Valentino Rossi.
It was some final lap. I mean, full credit. I thought it was all over with 2 laps to go.
Well, Alex Rins, he got so close at turn 12, Rossi. Rins would have heard him.
Good to see Valentino Rossi, you rascal, you young rascal, he's saying to Alex Rins.
The 61st time in his MotoGP career that Valentino Rossi finished second. Imagine if he'd have just converted a handful of those into victories. He would now be ahead of Giacomo Agostini in the battle for the all-time winners list. The Stetson's on. Davide Brivio comes down to congratulate his rider Alex Rins. They've always put their faith in young talent, haven't they, Suzuki? And that's reaping dividends again now. Jack Miller.
That was a very sensible ride from Jack Miller. In the past, Matt, Jack has been in contention for podiums, and then when it's slipping away, may just throw caution to the wind.
Yep.
He's lost the front in the past, but not today.
Back-to-back top sixes for Jack Miller for just the second time in his Grand Prix career.
Great job from Franco Morbidelli. He said he was waiting for a race where they could show their true potential. 5th place will do nicely.
Yeah, that's a career best for him in MotoGP, a first top 6.
It's another 6th place for Danilo Petrucci, Matt. That's 3 6s. That's the devil, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, 6th place sounds great, but what's going to be hurting Danilo Petrucci, Steve, is he was nowhere. 21.5 seconds he was behind your race winner Alex Rins. He was losing a second a lap in that race. Miller and Rins, well, they had a few feisty fights back in the Moto3 days. I think Jack Miller's going to come over and speak to Simon Craper very soon. Here it is, and his first ever dry race podium in MotoGP. The Aussie with Simon Craper.
Jack, the first of your 2018 podiums. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's it's going to taste a lot better when I get up there and get some champagne in my mouth. But as you can tell, I got pretty excited, lost my voice again. Amazing, a strong weekend all round from myself and the team. We've been chipping away, and today we got pretty lucky. I chose the soft front. Probably wasn't the right choice. I had a big mark on the right-hand side, and I was just a sitting duck at the end there. I saw I had a buffer to Dovi, and I just tried to manage it. I managed to drop back down in the 205 on the last lap, simply out of necessity. I had to, he was coming. So, I can't thank the team enough, can't thank Ducati enough, and my friends, family, everyone for the support. It's been a long time, that's for sure.
Big congratulations.
It has been a long time, Jack Miller, but it's well worth the wait. As you can hear there, he had that soft front tyre on it. It wore pretty aggressively throughout the race. He just about fended off Andrea Dovizioso, who was coming through like a steam train for what would have been one of the unlikeliest podiums I think we've ever seen in MotoGP. Andrea Dovizioso from 13th.
So many talking points after this race in Austin.
Absolutely. I mean, where do you start? I mean, like, what happened to Vinales and Mir, the crashes for Marquez and Crutchlow, another mechanical for Jorge Lorenzo.
From a neutral perspective, Jerez is going to be amazing. 2 weeks' time. We get 2 weeks off now, and 9 points covering Dovizioso, Rossi, Rins and Marc Marquez.
Yeah, can't wait to hear the thoughts of Alex Rins and Valentino Rossi, who will come over to speak to Simon very, very shortly. I'd imagine at the moment the doctor feeling pretty sick, but When all's said and done, it's a fantastic 20 points for Valentino Rossi on the podium again here in Texas, and he's second in the World Championship. Rossi with Simon.
Valentino, nobody can accuse you of not giving everything.
Yeah, I'm very sorry for the victory because when I saw Marquez crash, I say maybe I can do. But after I arrived Rins, and sincerely I pushed at the maximum. The race was very fast. I did lap time, but at the end it was better than me. He ride very well, and I'm not able to overtake. It's a shame because I don't win from a long time. But anyway, we are strong, and we will try next time.
Great race, Valentino.
Yeah, it was a great race. You can hear the rapturous reception that Valentino Rossi is receiving from a very appreciative Austin crowd here. It wasn't the win he wanted, but he was only really put in that position, of course, by Marquez's error. Fair play to Jack Miller as well, saying that he did get lucky today with Marquez going down.
Well, but the thing is, he's in the mix, Matt. He is in the mix, and we go to circuits he absolutely adores coming up. Now, if the Yamaha can work around Jerez, around Le Mans, Valentino Rossi will be there.
Yeah, they're having a chat with Davide Brivio, of course, the man who took him to Yamaha. Here he is, then a famous first MotoGP victory for Alex Rins here in Texas. He's with Simon.
Incredible, Alex. Not only for you, but also Suzuki. How happy are you?
I'm so happy. I have no words to explain my feeling. First of all, thanks to all these incredible fans, that comes here to COTA. Thank you, guys. Also, thanks to Suzuki Japan. They did a really good job doing a good bike, all these years. And I do my maximum. I'm so happy. My feeling is incredible. For me, I beat Valentino. No, this is unbelievable for me. It was my idol when I was very young. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Congratulations, Alex.
That's what's going to make this victory taste even sweeter. The fact that he survived the Rossi barrage.
This was a move from Alex Rins then that got him through initially. Valentino Rossi then tried a pretty desperate lunge here. That cost him some crucial tenths of a second. And after that, he was never able really to get right on the tail of Alex Rins, although mighty impressive display. That was a big moment as well, where Rossi, with 2 laps to go, went too deep into turn 11. That final lap, though, fair play. I mean, he made up a quarter of a second.
I think with 4 laps to go, when Rossi made that lunge at turn 12, I thought that was over. And then I thought again, on the 2 laps to go, he was out of it. There's the celebration. Joy and jubilation for Alex Rins. He wins here in COTA.
What must Marc Marquez be thinking right now after what's just unfolded here? Would love to hear his comments. He did actually say, Matt, in his debrief, didn't he? I think it was on Friday or something. The run has got to come to an end at some point. I don't think even he expected it to come to an end so quickly.
No, it was a bad mistake, wasn't it, by Marc Marquez? You can't pull any punches about that one.
And it's going to hurt so much as well, because this is one of those that we said at the start, one of the ticks in the boxes, isn't it?
It is. And what happened here? I mean, it was a bad day at the office for Marc Marquez. What about this man, Maverick Vinales? Jumped the start.
I got no idea. I mean, this is clear. This is a clear jump start.
Yeah, he can have no arguments about this. There you can see the red lights are on, and watch Maverick Vinales move. Clear jump start. Clear jump start. No arguments about that. Gets the ride through penalty, but then he did this. Now, obviously, he's misunderstood the ride through, meaning you've got to go and ride through the long lap penalty lane. But that was an awful blunder. Now, the team here are obviously saying, oh, you see what's happened? Now, it looks like on the pit board, there's confusion on the pit board. It looks like penalty was initially put on there, which means Vinales thought the long lap penalty. They've got a different communication for ride through. Eventually, they stuck ride through. Now, that's my interpretation of that shot. Maybe it was the wrong message for Vinales, I'm not sure. But even so, what's not up for debate, it was a day to forget, a shocker. Vinales, Steve, 3 races into the championship, he's 40 points off the championship lead. It could have been a lot worse.
Well, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, the fact that Marquez has crashed has kind of saved his bacon a little in terms of the points, but still.
You can see clearly, though, there was some debate going on there between Maya Meregali, Yamaha team boss, and his crew chief Esteban Garcia. I just wonder whether there's been a bit of a communication error there about how they told Maverick. Although, you know, surely it said ride through penalty on his dashboard.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Oh, who knows? I'm sure we will find out.
Pecco Bagnaia, his first top 10 finish in the MotoGP World Championship. Just got the better of Taka Nakagami. This is going to be a special moment for Kevin Schwantz. He's actually part of the podium celebrations. There he is, just getting a selfie with the podium men. When you talk about legends in this part of the world, and Suzuki legends at that, well, that man fits well and truly into that category. What a great fight it was once Marquez had gone out between Rins and Rossi. The old generation of MotoGP and the new generation of MotoGP locking horns here in cowboy country. The podium tally just continues to rack up for Valentino Rossi. We'll tell you very, very shortly. But here's the man of the moment. He's the new king of COTA, Alex Rins. Marc Marquez finally dethroned. Well, he fell off the throne, really, didn't he, to be fair, Marc Marquez. There's his crew chief. Manu, as he's known, Jose Manuel Casal, about to take the Constructor Trophy. Marvin Musquin, a Red Bull athlete, handing over the Constructor Trophy to Suzuki, their first victory since Silverstone 2016. 24-year-old Australian Jack Miller from Townsville, getting just his second ever MotoGP podium finish in his 69th start, his first in the dry. Roger da Costa handing over the trophy to Jack Miller, the Red Bull representative. He had to work hard for that one, did Jack Miller. Brilliant job by the Pramac Ducati man. Runner-up trophy going to the evergreen, ageless 40-year-old Valentino Rossi from Urbino. His great mate Kevin Schwantz handing over the trophy. That's a great moment. Rossi saying, get on the podium, Kevin. Let's have a picture together. Valentino Rossi's 198th MotoGP podium, the 234th of his Grand Prix career. But it's all about one man today. Jorge Villegas, the FIM president, has the pleasure and honour of handing over a winner's trophy for the first time in MotoGP to the 23-year-old Barcelona man, Alex Rins. His 46th career podium, 6 in the MotoGP World Championship, and in the 34th attempt, he takes his first win. Rins wins in COTA.
Unbelievable scenes here in Austin. We have a new king of COTA. Alex Rins wins for the factory Suzuki team and gets his championship season really off now to a fantastic start.
There's a famous slogan to describe Austin, Steve. It's called Keep Austin Weird. I think that motto pretty much summed up that 20-lap race. That was one of the weirdest ones I think we've ever seen. 2 jump starts. No factory Honda finished the race. Marc Marquez bailed out of a 3.6 second lead. That's pretty weird for me.
Yeah, it is very weird, but motorcycle racing is so great. If it was so predictable all the time, we wouldn't really be interested in it. And Valentino Rossi, Matt, how many times do people rule him out? And how many times does he come back fighting? I mean, it is unbelievable. We are heading into round 4 of the MotoGP World Championship. He's 3 points away from Dovizioso.
Remarkable. There's no other word you can really describe it. The man is a living legend, a genius on 2 wheels.